We represent professionals. It oftentimes involves, much like a union of sorts, a marriage, if you will, with the employer. And so what we're oftentimes called upon to review and ask would be things like employment agreements, non-compete provisions so that they're asked to agree to, non-solicitation contracts, and also confidentiality agreements. A lot of times executives who come into the employer is going to have to negotiate payment terms, compensation, benefits, those kinds of things.
Non-competes are agreements that usually a professional will sign and basically will say that if they leave that position, they will not compete against that current employer doing the same type of job or using their clients that they were exposed to at that employer.
Non-compete agreements in Florida are valid. There are states that don't enforce non-compete agreements or make them invalid for a variety of public policy reasons. But Florida does permit executives or persons who have significance in their organization to be subject to the terms of a non-compete. Usually it's individuals who are at a higher level within an organization. So people who have, if you will, the keys to the office, people who have deep knowledge of the operation, who make a commitment by virtue of their having that knowledge to not use the information they gain against their employer should they leave. Yeah, in terms of non-compete and its validity, it's governed by what's called geographic scope and also time scope. So those are the two major components that you look at a non-compete to determine whether it's reasonable or not. Typically speaking, because every industry is a little bit different in terms of what is legitimate, if it's a non-compete agreement that's no more than 2 years in length, that is, you can't compete for a period of 2 years after your termination, or if it's a geographic scope of 5 to 10 miles, but the industry itself has to be considered. Sometimes a regional scope is legitimate because of the kind of business. In rare instances, a national scope would be held to be valid unless it's a very unique industry where a national scope or nationwide prohibition would be in order. But that would be an exception, not a rule.
In addition, when there are issues that arise in the employment, we also help executives and professionals with things that come up throughout their employment, in addition to when they first come on and when they feel like it's time to leave.